Hey there, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a little bit of everyday magic, the science of light. We're going to break down the two super simple rules that pretty much govern everything you see.
So let's just jump right in with a classic mystery that I'm sure you've seen 1,000 times. Why does a pencil or, a straw look like it's completely bent the second you stick it in a glass of water? It's a really common illusion, but the science behind it is just fantastic.
And the secret? Well, it all boils down to two simple but incredibly powerful rules that light follows all the time, no exceptions: reflection and refraction. Seriously, once you get these two concepts, so much of the world around you is going to click into place.
Okay, let's tackle the first one. Let's talk about reflection, or, as I like to think of it, the perfect bounce.
So, at its heart, reflection is just what happens when light hits something and bounces off of it. Sounds pretty simple, right? But there's a very, very precise rule to how this bounce works. And here is that key rule. Imagine a ray of light hitting a mirror. The angle it comes in at, that's called the angle of incidence, is exactly the same as the angle it bounces off at, the angle of reflection. It's not messy or random. It is a perfect, predictable bounce every single time. So this begs the question, why can you see your reflection in a mirror, but not on, say, a wall or a piece of paper? Well, it all comes down to the texture of the surface. On a super smooth surface, like a mirror, all the light rays bounce off in a nice, organized, parallel way. That's called specular reflection, and it's what creates that clear image of you. But a piece of paper? Even if it looks smooth to us, on a microscopic level, it's actually really rough. So when light hits it, the rays scatter in a million different directions. That's diffuse reflection, and it's why you just see the light on the paper itself, not your face in it.
Okay, so we've got the bounce down. Now let's get to our second big rule, the one that explains our pencil trick: refraction, otherwise known as the Big Bend.
Right, so if reflection is all about light bouncing, refraction is all about light bending. This is what happens when a ray of light passes from one substance, or medium, into another, like from air into water.
But why on earth would it bend? Well, the reason is actually pretty straightforward. It changes speed. See, light doesn't travel at this same velocity through everything. When it moves from something thin, like air, into something denser, like water, it actually slows down. And it's that change in speed that forces it to change direction, to bend.
Here's a great way to think about it. Imagine you're driving a car straight off a paved road and into a big, muddy field, but you hit it at an angle. The moment your right front tire hits the mud, it's going to slow way down, right? But your left tire is still on the pavement, going fast. So what happens? The car is forced to pivot, to turn into the mud. That is exactly what light does when it goes from air into water. And that, my friends, is why the spoon looks broken. The light that's reflecting off the part of the spoon underwater has to travel out of the water and back into the air before it can get to your eyes. As it crosses that border, it speeds up and it bends. And that bend creates the illusion for our brains that the spoon is in a different place than it really is, making it look broken. So cool. Now, these rules aren't just for cool party tricks. They are absolutely fundamental to how we see the world and to so much of the technology we use every single day. Let's take a look at light at work. Just think about how essential this stuff is. Reflection. That's how your car mirrors give you that perfect, clear image of what's behind you. It's how giant telescopes can gather the incredibly faint light from galaxies millions of light years away. And refraction? Wow, that's the magic behind every single pair of glasses, every contact lens, every camera and microscope. Even the lenses inside your own eyes are using refraction to bend light and focus it so you can see clearly. So, at the end of the day, it really just comes down to these two very simple actions: bouncing and bending.
And from those two simple rules, we get all the beautiful and complex ways that we see and interact with our world.
So let's just lock this in one more time. You've got reflection, the action is a bounce, the cause, hitting a surface, and the classic example is a mirror. Then you have refraction, the action is a bend, the cause, a change in speed when it enters a new medium. And our example, of course, is that spoon in water. Simple as that.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? If these two incredibly simple rules, a bounce and a bend, are the science behind telescopes and cameras and even our own vision, it just makes you wonder, what other amazing phenomena out there are governed by rules that are just as simple, just waiting for us to see them? What other wonders are we missing that are hidden in plain sight?